What's up, and welcome back to Opposites Track Podcast. This is Sonja Ramirez, your girl, and I'm sitting next to
Miguel Ramirez.
What's up, everybody? How is your day?
How was your week?
How is your life?
Going.
Happy summer? No.
I guess. It's pretty hot, huh?
It is. Today is nice and steamy.
It's nice and toasty. I wouldn't say it gets toasty in Arizona. It doesn't get steamy. Steamy's for
Florida.
Yeah,
Florida is steamy. I don't care for the steam.
No, you know what? We were talking about it today. Like the weather. Mm-hmm. And it's just, we're going to get into exciting weather talk on this podcast. First thing. No, but like the difference between Arizona and Florida, because you always hear like, oh, Arizona's a dry heat. Mm-hmm. If you haven't been here, you don't know what, like, yeah, it's a dry heat, but when it's 120, the dry heat sucks.
I prefer the dry over humidity.
They both suck.
They do, but I prefer the dry.
Because in Florida, it'll be like 98.
Yeah.
But it'll be super humid and you're just dripping sweat.
Yes, yuck. Nope, I rather have dry heat.
But out here, you can feel your skin and your eyes burning. So they both suck in the summer, but it's nice in the winter.
Yep.
Right.
So today, both of our kids had games, and Adriana's team made it in the playoffs. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah,
and so, we got something to celebrate with her. And then Joey's last game was today.
Last game was today.
And they didn't make it in the playoffs?
No, it's not that they didn't make it. At his age, they don't have playoffs.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, gotcha. It's just once they don't even keep track of the score. I mean, I'm pitching the ball.
Yeah.
Underhand. Like, nobody gives a shit. Like, you got like 3 shortstops. Yeah. You got 2 second basemen. You know, like, we just put the kids out there and let them catch and hit and run around.
So Audrey had a sleepover for the first time with her best friend.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm, having a slumber party.
You mean you and Audrey had Audrey's best friend sleepover?
Yes. We've had so much fun, right? Sailor, she took off. No.
Yeah, she was here. She wanted to hear the beginning of the podcast, the intro.
We've had it, and this is the thing. I knew that once Audrey got older, that those were the years that I was going to enjoy the most with her. Like I liked having her as a toddler and an infant, but these years are the years that I knew that I would connect with her the most.
Yeah.
And I knew that there was going to be some challenges, but I knew that these were the years that I was going to really enjoy. And so her having her little friend over, we've been like jamming out. Like we've been dancing.
You guys been dancing. You guys been doing all the dance. All the kids dance, like the cha-cha slide, the wobble.
Yeah, the wobble. And we were in the car, so you and I had to split up today.
Yeah.
You had to go take Joey, and I took Audrey. And I kid you not, I remember doing this with my girlfriends back in the day, like before we would go out. But just turn the music up and just really jamming in the car, and it was so cute because I had Audrey next to me, and we were she loves that song Survivor
by Beyonce.
Yes, and so she starts just going at it, and of course time. That's my song, and so I'm jamming, and I look in the rearview mirror, and Sailor is like popping off back there, and she's into it. Yes, and it was like that the entire way there and then the entire way home. Like I just had a blast with these girls. It's so fun.
And then you guys continued it when you got home.
Yes, because they wanted to know how to do the wobble. So I'm like, well, let your mama show you.
Yep. That was cool.
Yeah. It's a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, so last weekend, after the games, last weekend, if you guys remember, we recorded the podcast a little early because you were going on your retreat. Mm-hmm. And we haven't talked about your retreat.
We haven't.
So we can get into that.
I got something funny to share.
Okay. But while you were out on the retreat on Saturday, I think it was Saturday, after the games and all that, we went out to go sell candy. Mm-hmm. So we talked about it. Audrey wants to buy a cell phone, so she's trying to make some money. Mm-hmm. And they have this cart that we've talked about. They bought candy wholesale, and they're going out to the park, and they're selling it to the kids. Right?
Yeah.
What's up?
I was going to share with everybody. You hear a lot of parents complaining that their kids feel entitled, that they're children are growing up and they're acting like little brats, entitled little brats.
No, we let the kids know we have money, but they don't.
Yes. And this is the way, just so with those of you that are watching, like, dang, you know, like you guys are like hardcore.
No,
it's not that. It's just, we want our kids to know how to make money, like how to be entrepreneurs, how to think outside the box, you know, how to get that alligator skin now, you know, so that if they do end up in an entrepreneur,
it's just a different mindset.
Yes. And I think that it challenges them as well.
Listen,
it strengthens them.
Oh yeah.
You know, and it sets them up, because I believe that Audrey is going to be a little entrepreneur. And I mean, Joey has that mindset as well. And so when they ask us for things, it's like, well, what can you do to earn the money? What can you do?
This is what you have to think about though. Like if you have other families that are like business oriented, you know, and they may have, it depends, but like a lot of times wealthy, like really wealthy families, they're wealthy because they have business and businesses that they own.
Yep.
Their mentality is completely different. If you were to, you know, offer them a job that pays a lot of money, they're not going to take it. They're not taking it because they're working for somebody else. No matter how much money you pay them, they're not going to take it.
Not only that, but the tax benefits too.
Well, the tax benefits, but it's just a completely different mindset. The thing is that we didn't have that mindset. And the thing is that we've done pretty good to try and change our mindset, but this is years and before us, before we were even born. It's a mindset that we have to change going forward.
Right, right.
And if you think about those people that are wealthy and their families, their kids' mindsets are different. Their kids, I'm sure when they're going to school and all that. Not all of them, right. But their mindset isn't like, oh, I can't wait to finish high school so I can find a job. It's a little bit different. They're like, well, how can I make some money? Or you know, I don't know. It's just a different mindset.
Right.
But that's kind of what we're trying to teach the kids, because one thing that, you know, this is one way for them to make money, but we want them to think about, how can I make money? Because when you really think about it, like we were just talking about making investments and buying an Airbnb maybe, or doing something else, investing in cryptocurrency. There is literally thousands of ways that you can make money. And it doesn't matter what, like you can make money playing video games. There's people that make money. I was just talking last weekend to our niece and nephew. Like we were talking about Pokemon and freaking Pokemon cards. Like people are making crazy money on Pokemon cards. Like I don't know how that works. I'm not into it. I'm not gonna get into it. But the thing is that there's an option for you.
Yes.
Like there is no reason why you can't make money.
Or be struggling. Right. Yeah. No, for
there
sure.
There are so, like you can buy shit from Walmart and resell it. You can buy shit from Amazon, resell it, buying Amazon pallet. Like there's so many different ways. You can make money
by couponing. You know like, yeah.
It doesn't have to be, I'm going to invest in the stock market. And I mean, that is one way.
Right.
But there's so many different ways.
One way of many. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And that's what we're trying to teach the kids with this, you know, with this candy shop that they have in the cart. And now, like, it's getting hot, and we're realizing maybe candy's not the best option.
Chocolate.
And actually, you know what we maybe need to do? Put the candy away till it's...
Or get a little cooler.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Put the candy away and bust out some drinks, because the drinks will sell a lot faster than the candy right now. You know, we can help the kids, and that's how they learn marketing. Like, hey, it's hot. You don't want to sell Snickers bars when it's hot.
Right.
You want to sell Capri Suns and, you know, little Gatorades and stuff like that. So anyway, but we went out last weekend and we were selling. And kind of like you were saying, at first, they were kind of nervous. And I'm like, you guys better get out there. I was like, because I'm not going to go out and talk to people for you. I was like, there goes somebody. And they would walk by and I'm like, you missed out. They might have bought like $5 worth of stuff, but you didn't talk to them. There goes the next person. And they're like, you go talk. You go talk. I'm like, somebody better start talking before we leave. You know, so little by little, they go out there and they start talking to somebody. No. Talk to the next person. No. And then, well, you go talk. You go talk. And then eventually it's like, let's go. And they just start one to the next. And then they started getting a little momentum and making money. And we went to about like 2 or 3 different parks. And at the last park that we were at, I think it was probably about like 5:30 in the evening. And we show up at this park. We get the cart hooked up. They got the bikes, and they're going around talking to a couple people. And then there's a couple rabbits in the park, right? That they're just hopping around or whatever. And the kids are always chasing after the bunnies or whatever. Yes. And I'm always messing with them. You know, I'm like, hey, if you can catch a bunny, I'll give you $100. Right? So I didn't even realize it at the time what I had done. But I told the kids, I was like, hey, if you catch a bunny, I'll give you $100. What happened was they stopped selling and started chasing rabbits so that they could make a quick $100.
Listen to the lesson.
At least that's what they thought.
Yes.
So it was like 5:30. Now it's 5:45. These kids are still chasing bunnies. People are still walking by. They haven't sold anything at this park. And when we got to the house, we had already figured out, we had counted the money that we made from the other parks, and we had figured out that they had $12 to go so that they could break even. The chocolate and the candy that they bought, if they sold $12 worth of stuff more, they would break even. They would pay for all the candy that they bought. And now after that, they're going to start making just profit, straight profit. And that's when you get excited. Yeah. Like, this is actually money that's mine that I'm making that I'm going to keep.
Because that is something that we explain to them.
Yeah, we explain that to them. I'm like, hey, you got $12.30 left. Go knock out those $12.30 as fast as you can. And now you're making money. But they were chasing rabbits. So now it's like 5:45 and they're still chasing rabbits. And I'm like, hey, you guys are missing out because people are walking by and you guys are out here chasing rabbits, and they keep chasing the rabbits. And then
they're thinking they're going to earn $100 if they catch a rabbit.
They did.
So they try to take the easy way out.
So, and that's more than what she needs for her phone. Right? So probably about like 5:55, I'm like, look, I'm tired of standing around here. You guys aren't doing anything but chasing rabbits. Let's pack it up and get out of here. So we pack it up and we get in the car and we start driving back to the house. And while we're driving home, Audrey's sitting in the front seat, and I start talking to Audrey. And I was like, what happened? What happened at the park? Like, we talked about it before we went to the park, that all you needed was $12.30 before you start getting into profit mode. That was the goal, to at least make that. So that the next park that we go to, now we know we're making money. What happened? I was trying to get the rabbit and this, and I was like, yeah. But how much money did you make at that park? Nothing. Why? Because I was chasing rabbits. And I was like, you know what? In your life, when there's things that you want to get done, there are going to be rabbits that appear. And if you go off chasing those rabbits and you don't stay focused on your goal, you'll never reach it because the rabbits keep distracting you. And you think that it's going to be quick and easy, but it's not quick and easy. It may look that way. There, it's right there. I'm going to get it, but you can't get it.
Yep.
And all you're doing is wasting time.
Right. Yep.
I was like, so stay focused. I was like, you could have made the money. You could have probably been already in profit mode, but you were off chasing rabbits.
Yep.
I was like, yeah, go.
It's like with school, right? That's a great lesson for everything and anything in your life. Like, when you are focused and you have a goal, it's like you have tunnel vision. You stay there. But so many people, they give up before they get to the end. Before they could reach their goals.
Or not even give up, but everybody's looking for we've talked about it. It's the shortcut. Like, shit.
It's that diet pill. Look, it's the diet pill.
if I catch that rabbit right now, I'm going to go buy that phone. You're not going to catch the freaking rabbit. Yeah. Get to work.
Yeah. But that was a good lesson. I mean,
know what I mean?
You threw it out there and they went for the rabbit.
And at first, I didn't even realize it, what I had done. And then when we were leaving and we got in the car, and I was like, oh, man.
When have you chased a rabbit? Can you think back in your life and share with us an experience of when you were chasing a rabbit?
Shit. You're putting me on the spot. I got to think. There's always rabbits. There's rabbits everywhere.
There's always shiny things, right? Always shiny things.
It's just tough to stay focused. But
it's kind of like when we are posting, I can share with you a recent rabbit, and I try not to do this.
Social media is a rabbit.
Exactly. Like, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to post for the podcast, or, I'm going to post.
YouTube's a rabbit.
Social media. And then all of a sudden you see a post and you start reading the post, and then you start scrolling through your phone
like the
there,
post,
right?
you comment on the post.
And then you totally forget why you even got on Facebook.
You'll even turn the phone off and go do something else, and you're like, oh shit, I was on my phone earlier to post.
It's kind of like what I was telling you, I think on the last podcast, setting yourself up for success. Yeah. You know, it's like limit yourself, set a timer, you know, and focus on what you have to do, like setting yourself up for success. If you know that you're trying to lose weight, don't buy the soda, don't buy the chips, don't buy the candy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, like if you have work to do on the phone for, you know, whatever you're doing, if you have to put out a post or you got to do something, like make sure that when you get on that phone, you know what you're supposed to be doing.
Well, so
because I do, and the thing is, I do it all the time.
So last week we bombed.
The worst thing?
We bombed going to the gym because we were waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning and going to the gym. And normally you wake me up because you get up, but 3 days out of the week, I think 3 days you were working from home. Yeah. And not only that, but setting yourself up for success. I put my phone on the charger in a different room, didn't hear my alarm go off and slept through it.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
Right. I'm like, that was not setting myself up for success far away because I didn't hear shit.
Yeah. Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
You know how they say set your alarm, put it far away so that you have to get up.
Not that far away. I set my alarm and then I put my phone in the car. You know?
Right. It was the thought that counts, not
right. Oh man.
So what not to do when you're setting yourself up for success?
Yep.
So let's the encounter.
Yeah.
I thought I did
no,
mention
we
it
recorded before you left.
Oh, that's right. So, I went to a second encounter. And I ended up taking my niece, my cousin, and a really good friend. And I got to share this because this is hilarious.
It was a church encounter.
Yeah, it was a church encounter, women's encounter. And it was just such a beautiful event. You know, they're always different. I always get something different. Not always. This is my second time around. But, you know, it brings to light a lot of things that you've been holding in.
Me?
No, like attending these encounters.
Yeah.
It brings in things that you think you're healed from or things that you thought that you forgot about.
Or that don't affect you anymore.
Right. You know, and then you just hear all these stories. And I don't want to get too much into it because you're going to one.
Yeah.
And we can talk about that a little later, after this. But there's just so much. It's you're surrounded by all these amazing women and you're with groups of individuals. But when you're in it, it's like it's just you and the person in front of the room. Like it becomes very intimate, very, just very intimate, you know? And at times I felt that it was just me and the person in front and you're feeling, you know, just all these different emotions coming up and things start to come up that you thought that were gone, you know, things that you thought you forgot about and, you know, people that you thought that you forgave, you know, and for me, it's just, it's a very enlightening experience.
Yeah.
And I can't even explain exactly what you go through when you're there. But when you go with people that you love, like, you know, my niece, I knew she was going through some situations. My cousin, I knew she was going through some situations. And being there with them. And this encounter, I got asked to volunteer. So I wasn't sitting right next to them. I was sitting in the back and I was witnessing all these women having breakthroughs, all these women that I seen, right, as very strong, put together women just break down and be set free from whatever trauma was holding them back. And it's like the women going in are not the same women coming out of the event. And being able to witness it and feel all the love and support in that room, it's It's unbelievable. It really is. It's unbelievable. And you do feel that something in you was just set free. But that's only the beginning. Like, it's only the beginning of the breakthrough, because being up in that hill, it's easy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's easy to be set free. But when you come back to reality, that's when the game is on. Like, it is on. And I love the fact that my church has a call. We have a call every day at noon. And it's women sharing their experiences or their challenges, coming back from the encounter and what they're facing.
Yeah.
You know, and just to see that you're not alone. Like, you're not alone, because things become very real once you get back. Reality hits and life starts coming at you. Okay. And that's when you start to build that strength, the awareness of what you're feeling, how you're responding, you know?
Yeah.
And so, you know, just talking to my niece every day and my cousin and Veronica, and just being there for each other. And I feel that we bonded on a deep level, just being there. That's cool. Yeah.
That's good.
And I don't know if you want to share, but Miguel decided to go, and I'm excited for you, but I'm not expecting you to come back like, I found Jesus. Like, I found, you know, I asked you to go because I want you just to have the experience. Like, I just want you to have the experience. And I hope and I pray that you just go with you have an open mind. You are that person. Like, when I talk to people about you, everybody knows, like, you are, to me, you are a godly man to me. And I don't care what you, like, how you believe and how you say it, but you are filled with love. And to me, that's what God is love. And so when I see you, I see your heart.
Yeah.
You know, and so I'm so excited just for you to go get the experience. That's it. You know, I don't expect you to come back, you know, a changed man and believing something different. Yeah. You know, I just want you to see what I see and have the experience. And that is it.
Yeah. Do you think that by me going, I'm going to see what you see?
I feel that there may be some break. I feel that because I know what you've gone through, like your childhood, I know. And so I feel that there will be.
You also know me.
Yeah.
And you know the way I think.
Exactly. But I think that this may bring, you know, some of those past traumas that you've been through to help you get on that path of recovery.
Okay.
You know? Yeah.
Path of recovery?
Yeah.
I mean,
not recovery from not believing, but
I mean, I feel like
I know there are some things.
I think everybody's got stuff to work out.
Yes. But I feel that there are some things that have not been brought to light that I feel will be brought to light. And then the next step can be just recovering from that or working on that.
Okay.
But that's just what I'm throwing. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know?
It's just different.
The men are amazing. Like, I know their wives. I know the men that you're going to be around. And they're not like, I don't know. They're just real. They're not, you know how you can walk into a church and just feel like they're real. And I know who you're going to be surrounded with. And I just, you know, it's like, just see past everything else.
Yeah.
You know, just see past everything else. And regardless, I feel that there's going to be some bonding moments there because I know the men.
Yeah.
And I know their wives, you know?
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And Yeah, the reason, like, we had talked about it, and like the whole religion thing, we've talked about it so many times. We've talked about it on here, and I told you that this is the last thing that I'm doing. You know, like I am not going to any more spiritual retreats after this. You know, this is pretty much like, because at first when we were talking about it, you were saying like this is pretty much it. Like this is what you want me to do, so that hopefully, or
But I didn't force you.
You didn't force me. But you said that you wanted me to go to this thing because
I asked you if you could do something for me. Can you can you do something for me?
But it's kind of like your hope is that I'm going to go and see things differently. At least that when we first started talking about this, that's what it was.
I just want you to experience it. I want you to experience it. I'm not expecting things. I don't know. I'm not attached to the outcome. Let's put it that way.
I think what you were hoping is that I come back somewhat spiritual.
No, I'm not attached to the outcome. I'm excited for
but
you
when we
and go and
first started talking about it and you wanted me to go.
I'm trying to take myself back to that conversation of what I felt. And you want to know what I felt?
What?
I just felt loved. There was no
I'm not talking about
hope
when you
of
went.
anything. No,
Well,
I'm talking about you, love, when we
Okay.
were sitting upstairs and I was having that conversation with you. And when you said you would go, I just felt so loved because I know how you feel. And for you to do this, despite like how you feel, I felt love, like unconditional love from you. And I'm not expecting anything. I want you to go have the experience, but
Okay.
I'm not attached. I'm not going to be hurt if you come back like it's what I thought or, you know what? I know you're not going to say a waste of time. I know that because you're going to meet some really great men.
This is the thing. Like for me, when we were first talking about it, it seemed like you wanted me to go so that hopefully I can have some kind of spiritual experience and we can be on the same level. Right? Or on a similar level.
Okay, this is going to sound crazy.
Because we were always talking about how I'm not there yet. Or whatever.
Well,
right?
because
you're on
I'm
a
that
different
way.
level.
No,
right?
No, I'm just that way.
I'm just saying, like you were wanting me to, at least for me, that's the way I see it. Like you wanted me to go to this event so that hopefully we can get on a similar level. Maybe I become a little more spiritual or something.
Yeah.
That's the way it seemed to me. Like that's why you wanted me to go. I
feel that we are.
Is that not?
Without you
even
saying anything, I feel that we are on the same level. I've just come to realize that we are on the same level. You love the way I love. I'm just a woman, so I express it more. No, I'm being serious.
Yeah.
Like, no, and this is what I learned at the last encounter. Like, that's why I say I always get something different. Like it's always what I need at that time, because I was making you feel as if I was above you or I was more, God was on my side. I don't know. I can't explain it. But then God made me realize that you're already there. Like you have that pure love in your heart for other people and you serve other people. And it's all about what can we do to make a difference? We are there. We are on the same level. I just believe God and you believe science, but our hearts are on the same level. Okay. And that's why when I talk to people about you, I always tell them he's a godly man. Even when you met one of my girls, what did she tell you?
I can't remember.
She said you are a godly man, or she said something.
I'm like, thanks. That's my response. Thanks.
But it's because that's how I see you. But it took, I don't know what it was. It was just being at that encounter, and it was a message from God, whatever. Like, you're already there. Our heart is. I just express it more. I'm more emotional because I'm a woman.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, but that was my thought. When you were telling me to go, my thought was that you want me to go so that hopefully I can have a spiritual experience and then we can be on a similar level or whatever. But for me, like, I'm going to this and I don't know. I don't know, but my thought was I'll go to it, and everybody keeps telling me, like, you've told me and other people have told me, like, keep an open mind and ask, like, get your questions answered there.
Yes.
And it's like, well, I talked to you about that yesterday or the day before. It's like, well,
it was today, I think.
I don't know. I was just
anyways, go. Yeah.
I don't want to ask questions. Listen, this is the thing. I've been told to ask for the truth from God, right? Now, I don't believe that the God that everybody talks about is out there and listening, right? So to me, I'm just like, all right, I'll do it because it doesn't matter. Like, I'll just do it. And if God is out there, then do something. It's like, dude, I'm in your house every weekend. Do something. I'm going to your house for the weekend. Do something. I'm there. If you're there, there shouldn't have to be any magic.
Yeah.
There shouldn't have to be magic words that need to be said. There shouldn't be songs that need to be sang. I shouldn't have to talk to people. He should be there.
And he is.
And that's what I'm like, you know what I mean?
Everywhere. I don't go to church to his house to find him.
Well, I'm just saying, I don't believe it, period. Right?
Right.
So if this is such a place where everybody, like, it's going to be a spiritual place. There's a lot of spiritual energy there,
yes.
right?
Yes.
So if it's going to happen somewhere, it should happen there, right? And you can't say that I'm not open and willing because I'm there. No. Even though I may not think it and I may not feel it's true. I mean, like, You're going. Change my mind. I'm down. But I haven't seen anything. And my thought is, I'll go. But if I come back and I still feel the same way.
You mean when you come back? Don't say if.
If I come back. No, I might just join. I might just join the church and you never see me again. I'll be like, sorry. So every time you see me, I'm going to be like, doing it. But, you know, I'm just saying, when I come back, if I still feel and think the same way, okay, maybe I figured out that I've got some issues from when I grew up. But that's not God. That's just me or somebody revealing something from my past that is fucked up that I need to work on. Right? That's not spiritual. Everybody's been through hard times. Everybody's got a story to tell. Right? There's a lot of people that have had hard times and came out of it. Yeah, I know a lot of people that have been through stuff like that. And if I come back and I haven't had that experience, like, all right, I've done what I've done, but I'm not going to any more of these things. And from then forward, I'm going to need something, but leave me alone. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying in general, like, I've done what I need to do. I've been to your house every weekend. I've been there for the weekend. I've done everything.
Yeah.
You can't say that I'm not trying. So at this point, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know? We were talking about something, and I'm sorry if this sounds harsh to people that believe, but you got to understand that I don't believe that it's true. You know what I mean? Like, we were talking about how the reason that I say that is because our entire world, if you just look around, it's just stories that people have made up. We've mentioned it here. Even when we were upstairs a couple days ago, we were talking about something. We were talking about God, and we were talking about, like, the different types of gods and how sometimes God can seem cruel and all these different things. But whatever. And there's certain things that you were saying that you don't agree with, right? And when I was bringing the stuff up, you're always telling me, well, that's not my God. My God is, and you start describing your God. Or I think, was that what we were talking about, or was it something else?
I don't remember. But I mean,
but it was something similar.
We were probably, well, the reason, okay, so.
We were talking about something, but you were saying, no, that's not the way I feel or the way I think. Right. The way I see it is, and you started mentioning how you saw something. And in that moment, I was like, do you realize that now you're making stuff up? And you paused for a second and you were like, oh crap, like kind of like, yeah, I am kind of making stuff up. But it's not just that. Like we do that everywhere.
Yeah. For me, like, and the reason why I say that is like my relationship with God is very intimate.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why, like,
I'll give a couple examples in a second.
I don't know yet, like when I was reading the Bible, the Old Testament, like they were talking about how, you know, our God, is a fearful God, like he wants us to fear him. And, you know, just there's a lot of things in the Bible, you know, that the God that I have a relationship is a loving, compassionate, forgiving God. Like he's all love. And when I started reading the Bible, there were some things that I was really getting sick to my stomach about, because innocent women and children, yes, were being, you know, killed. And I just started to feel a shift, and I didn't understand like what this was about.
Yeah.
And that's when I started questioning, you know, my faith. And that's when I had stepped away from the church. And there are still questions that I have, and there's still, like, I have to read more into it or read into it, and maybe get someone else who knows the Bible, who understands the Bible, that can answer some questions.
I got a guy
that I have, you know, and you know, like people were saying, but we have a strong God as well. Like we have a strong God. Like, you know, step in authority. Like when you pray, you know, pray in authority. And I'm that person who, it's like I need some of that strength, because I feel like I'm so weak at times. Like I'm so emotional. What do you mean, the
strength?
Of like speaking my truth, or, you know, standing up when I need to stand up. Okay. You know what I'm saying? But in my defense, what's always worked is just love. Like loving regardless of someone, you know, like someone who has betrayed me, or someone who has spoke ill of me, or someone who's treated me bad. Like I've always loved on them regardless, right? Yeah. And at times I feel it's a weakness, but at times I feel it's a strength.
Yeah.
You know, so when I was talking to, I can't remember who it was, about the Bible and how I was feeling, they were talking about that God is also, you know, like a courageous God. Like he's a God of strength. He is a God of, you know.
Well, what I was going to say, like when you were reading parts of the Bible that seemed kind of harsh, and you said you felt a shift.
I just felt sick.
Okay. But then at a certain point, you started saying like, that's not the way I see God. Or your God.
And I stopped reading the Bible.
Is that the point where you started defining your own God?
No, because I've always felt that's how that's how I feel him. Like that's how I feel him.
This is what we were talking about though. So let's say that in the world there's 3,000 gods. But if none of those gods are your God, then that's 3,001 gods.
Yeah, no, I see.
And everybody's got their own God.
I know what you're saying.
You know, so.
But I also see me as a baby Christian. Like I don't, like I'm, you know what I'm saying? Like I stepped away. I was getting really into it. I was reading the Bible, right?
No, I get it.
you know, and then I stepped away and now I feel like I'm starting all over again, like learning.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, don't come with me with your questions because I don't have answers. I can only tell you, you know, the Holy Spirit and how that works within. And, you know, I can't answer questions. That's why when you come at me, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I can only go by what I feel.
Yeah.
You know?
But the thing is that you also, I mean, you do think about stuff and you're like, well, some of this doesn't really make sense.
And you know what's so crazy though? And I've talked to the girls about this, but I was introduced to the Holy Spirit first. Like I had a spiritual experience.
Not at church.
Not at church. It was not at church. Like my relationship with God started outside of church before I even got involved with the church, any of that. That's why when you and I talk, you know, and I don't even know if I've gotten into a deep conversation with you all, with my listeners about my spiritual experience, but that one spiritual experience that I had, I wasn't crying. I wasn't stressed. I wasn't looking for God. I wasn't on my search for God. And I had that spiritual experience. And that is something that no one can take from me. That is the one thing that like I know that there's a higher, like there's a creator, or a higher energy, a higher vibration, God. Like I know that through this experience. And that's the one experience that when you talk to me about things, and it makes a whole lot of sense, like what you talk about, like it does. And you might be able to shift my thinking and my belief if it wasn't for this one experience that without a doubt was so real to me that there's no way you can shift what I believe because of what I experienced. And some people experience what I experienced, but they were crying. It was something that trauma that happened in their life where they are coming to find God. They're searching, they're in prayer, they're going to church, like they're doing all these things, and then they have an experience. But that wasn't where mine came from. It was very spontaneous.
And that's why I, like when you talk to me about being spiritual, like I don't give you a hard time about being spiritual. Do I give you a hard time about you being spiritual when you talk to me about that stuff?
No.
You know, when you come back from an appointment and you start telling me that something happened, that you guys talked or whatever, like I'll listen, I'll ask some questions. But when do I start asking more questions?
I think you start asking more questions when I start going to church more often, and I'm talking about Jesus Christ.
There you go. When you start attaching it to a specific God. And I'm like, how do you know? Like, why? If you have a feeling, it's like if you've never sneezed before and like that you've read in books or people talk to you about or whatever, like this is something that can happen. Like that's like a spiritual experience. You never have it and you sneeze and you're like, that was Jesus. How do you attach this to that? That's where I have questions. You know, with thousands of religions and gods and people making stuff up, how do you pick one?
And when Miguel talks about making stuff up, if you guys haven't read this book, The Four Agreements, they talk about it.
They talk about it. They talk about in the book Sapiens, they talk about it a lot. But just to give you guys examples, like, I mean, we've talked about it here. Arizona, the state of Arizona, somebody decided that this is the shape of our state. But who decided that? You know, who decided that United States is the United States and Mexico is Mexico? Like who decided that these lines are divided? And when did that happen? Even with, there's this song, and this is funny because this is something so simple. And it happened like years ago when I was a teenager. I was working at this nightclub. Was it then? It was around then, back in the like 90s, 2000. This song Blue came out. You remember? Blue, da ba dee, da ba da, da ba dee. And they've done remixes or whatever. But that song.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was a huge, very popular song by this group, Eiffel 65, that was from Europe. I think they were from Italy. And I watched like it was funny. Like something popped up on YouTube and it was a documentary pretty much about this song. And I was like, man, I used to love that song when I was a kid. But I remember my best friend and we would listen to the song. And there's like, I remember the words because we thought we figured it out. And we would say that it was, I'm blue. If I was green, I would die. Mm-hmm. Because the whole song is about him being blue. Mm-hmm. I live in a blue house with a blue window, you know? Mm-hmm. And then he's got a blue Corvette and everything is blue for him and himself and everybody around, right? Everything is blue in his world. Mm-hmm. So we made up the story that the song says, I'm blue. If I was green, I would die. If I was green, I would die.
You want to know what I...
And you made up your own story.
I'm in need of a guy.
Yeah, that shows you where Sonia's mind was at that time. All right?
It was funny.
But
Audrey thought that. What did Audrey think?
But this is the thing
too.
Is that I was watching this documentary, and they were asking the members of the band, and they were asking them sincerely, like, what the fuck does that song say? Because millions of people around the world have made up their own words.
Yes.
The fucking band said, it says, Daba Dee, Daba Die. Uh-huh. That's like, we didn't write words. Uh-huh. It was just like a thing. We just kind of Daba Dee, Daba Da, Daba. That's what it says. But everybody insists. And there's people to this day that they're like, no, I don't give a shit what the band that wrote the song says. It says this. Yeah. People love making shit up. Right? I mean, and that's just a small example. That's everywhere. Mm-hmm. Our government. Yeah. That was something that somebody made up.
Money.
Every city.
We
live in this city. But when you cross, there's a sign that says you're now entering this county.
Okay. So we're going to, everybody.
Right?
Don't get too deep into that because your mind will just like, oh my gosh, wander.
Anyways, So yeah, so we I'll be going to that. I'll probably talk about that. The retreat. Well,
it's
not next weekend. So the weekend after that, I'll be talking about it.
Yes.
Because we'll be recording again before I leave.
Right.
So in a couple of weeks, we'll see what happens. Yeah. But anyway, if you guys have been enjoying the podcast and you guys want to share it with the people that you know, make sure you guys go to oppositesattractpodcast.com. There you'll see all of our social media. You can watch it. You can listen to it there. You can share it with the people that you know.
You can comment.
You can download our resource list. When you go there, you'll see a pop-up for our resource list. And what the resource list is, it's a bunch of different videos, books, podcasts that we've listened to that have helped us get from where we used to be to where we are today. Just things that have kind of changed our mindset about work, about money, about parenting, marriage. There's a lot of great information on there. So if you guys want to check it out, make sure you go to oppositesattractpodcast.com. All you got to do is when the pop-up comes up, you enter your email and your name, and it'll take you to a link so that you can download it. And there's also the songs that I made for Sonia that are on there for download. Oh yeah. There's that funny country one that I made, and then the regular version that I did for, what was it, Valentine's Day or your birthday? I think it was Valentine's Day.
Yes.
Yeah. So those are on there too. You guys can check them out at oppositesattractpodcast.com. And you can click on the support the show tab, or if you're on the phone, hit the menu button and you'll see the support the show tab, and you'll see our Amazon link. Anything that you purchase through that link, you just click on it and purchase and shop like you would on Amazon. Anything that you do through that link, we'll get a small kickback for whatever you buy. And it helps out the show. And you'll also see a link to Trust Inc. And Trust Inc. is?
We are a nationwide mobile notary agency and signing agency. Right now, we are doing tons of work for title companies, lenders as well. If you are looking to purchase, modify, or sell your home, you can request Trust Inc. to be your signing agency.
Excellent. And if you want to go to Trust Inc., you can go to trustinkusa.com and you can go to Trust Inc. directly. Mm-hmm. We're also affiliates with Libsyn, which is who hosts our podcast. If you guys have a hobby that you want to talk about, if you thought about starting a podcast, you can use promo code OAP with Libsyn for Opposites Attract Podcast, and you'll get the rest of whatever month you sign up in for free, and you'll get the next month for free just for trying out Libsyn, and Libsyn distributes our podcast to iTunes, to Amazon Music, to Spotify. They send out the audio to all the different places. All we do is upload it there. And another thing, there's a couple apps, and I don't know this for sure. You guys can look it up if you're into podcasting or you're thinking about starting it. But there's a couple apps or places where you can start a podcast for free. From what I understand, if you pay for your podcast, what you're paying for is space on the server. So that is like renting space for your episodes. Now, if you're not paying for it, you don't own the space on the server. So if you have a free distributor for your podcast, then if something was to change or something happens, since you don't really have a contract and you're not paying, they may just be able to remove all your episodes, or like you can't pull them up anymore. So I don't know. If you guys are interested in starting a podcast, do your research. Make sure that you sign up with a good distributor. So
very cool.
If you want to go with Libsyn, promo code OAP. Also on Amazon, you can check out our merch. If you want to buy a t-shirt, just search Opposites Attract Podcast on Amazon. You'll find our t-shirts, pop sockets for your phone cases, and
all that
some
good
different
stuff. Yes. So I was talking to our lender, our friend who's a lender, and we were just talking about entrepreneurs and their mindset and all this good stuff. And I just I asked him, I'm like, you're a lender. Why haven't you gotten into investing in real estate? And so anyways, we just started talking about books that we've read and stuff like that. And he mentioned a statement that a few entrepreneurs have set out in social media. And I've never heard this. And I'm like, who in the world would think like that? But he said that a lot of entrepreneurs, you know how you have to have the hustle? Like you have to have that within in order to be successful. And he said that he either read a book or something where they said that they would buy something expensive, something that they can't really afford, to keep the hustle moving, to keep the hustle going. And I'm like, what? Who in the world? Who would do that? Like, I wouldn't do that. Like, that would not motivate me.
Yeah.
Have you heard that before?
Yep. You know who I remember hearing it from?
Who?
Adam Crowler and his podcast. Not his podcast, but if you guys he's got a huge podcast, one of the biggest in the world. But I remember listening to his podcast, and he was talking about, so if you guys don't know Adam Crowler, he was a radio personality. Now he has a podcast. He was the host of The Man Show. He was on TV for a while. But when he first started, he kind of blew up on the show Loveline. You remember Loveline back in the day? Yeah. So he was one of the original hosts with Dr. Drew on Loveline. So when they shot their first season or whatever, like he was like, this is it. Like I'm finally in entertainment and I'm making like really good money after his first contract or whatever. Right. So he's getting ready to buy his first like legit kind of like celebrity house. Right. And other celebrities that have been celebrities for because he's just like a week into being a celebrity or something like that. Right. Other celebrities are telling him, be careful because this shit doesn't last forever. Like you may be a celebrity now, but you don't know where you're going to be 6 months from now or a year from now. And when he was buying his house, he said that he was looking at appliances and all this stuff. And appliances, they can range from, you know, the cheap stuff all the way up to the high grade stuff. And where he was at, he should have been buying the cheaper stuff. But he was like, fuck that. He's like, I'm going to bet on myself. I will figure out how to make this happen. And if I put this stuff in there, I'm going to do it. So he bought like all the most expensive stuff. But the thing is that he fucking hustled his ass off to make sure that. See,
I'm not built that way. Are you?
And like, I don't know. I don't know if I would do that.
Yeah. And maybe it's because we got to think bigger. Maybe we need to do that. But I mean, because this whole investing into another property, like I was 100% like into it.
Next year, we're going to be in a completely different location. We're not going to have shit because we bet on ourselves and we fucked up. It's like, turns out we don't have it. Like,
no, but seriously, because we were thinking about this other property and I have not pulled the plug on what we were going to do, because it's like, do we play safe? And it's like, you hear people, Dave Ramsey talking about paying off debt and then just saving until you have enough to buy the extra or the other, investment property in cash. Yeah. And it's like people say, Dave Ramsey is great for the beginning of stage like us. Like we got ourselves out of debt using Dave Ramsey. We have an emergency account, whatever. Like we did his process, but it's like, staying there will keep us average. And somebody said that, like, you can follow Dave Ramsey, and if you continue to follow him after you're debt free and you have your emergency fund set up, he will keep you average.
That's what I was thinking, kind of like when we were following Dave Ramsey and trying to get out of debt and all that. That's the way I felt. Like Dave Ramsey is great for when you're below zero. Mm-hmm. Like if you have debt and like you can't even really get started yet because you got a bunch of crap you need to pay off. Credit cards, cars, all that stuff. Right.
Yes.
So he's great to get you to zero. Mm-hmm. But if you're in the negative, then follow everything he says. And once you get to zero, and once you have a little bit of that emergency fund,
yes,
then maybe you need to start looking at other things. Yes. Like aside from Dave Ramsey, because he's so conservative.
Yes. And you have people. I mean, we have a really good friend who has a very successful business.
Yeah.
Very successful.
We have a couple.
And he's all Dave Ramsey. Like I talked to him about investing into another property, and he told me, don't do what you're thinking. He's like, because I did that, and in 2008, I lost my ass.
Oh,
right.
So
and
hard.
now, but listen, now, like he has property, out north of here, where he can go where it's snowing and beautiful. And then he has 3 other working on, I think he's on his 3rd condo in Mexico, all paid for in cash, like balling out of control. Yeah. And he did the Dave Ramsey way, and he is living it and he's doing it, but his business took off like completely. Oh, yeah. So we have people who went that route who are doing very well, but then we know other people who didn't do the whole Dave Ramsey.
I think it's different because he has a business,
and we have a business. It's not a business.
But if you don't have but if you don't have a business, if all you have is a job,
that's hard to do.
There's nothing wrong with that. But if all you have is a job and you want to become wealthy, that may not happen with just a job.
Yeah. Yes.
Because not the Dave Ramsey way.
Right.
I mean, you're going to be all right and you'll be able to retire probably comfortably, but it probably, I don't know if it's going to change your family legacy.
I'm going to throw this out because I want to know. I want to see this episode.
And if you guys know any better, you guys can call us. We haven't mentioned our phone number in forever. But if you guys want to leave us a message, you want to call us. If you guys have any opinions on the stuff that we talk about, you guys can call us at 480-912-5128.
So today's the 8th, right? May 8th, 2021. Like okay. So I want to throw this out because years later, I want to see if I'm going to be kicking myself in the ass.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people said that I've been, bigger pockets, listening to podcasts, real estate, just all of this. And what they're saying is that we need to sell one of our properties. Like we need to sell one of our properties in order to gain more property, right? Or we need to take out the equity by doing a refinance or a HELOC to pull out the money to purchase our next property. But because right now it's a great time to sell, right? It's like a great time to sell. It's not a good time to buy. Yeah. And what I was thinking that maybe we should refinance but the other house is such a cash cow that I don't think it's a great idea to sell it, but maybe in order to pocket the money so that if the market corrects itself and there are homes in foreclosure that we could purchase to cash for the one that we sold, or do we just sit pretty, play comfortable and continue to stash the cash so when the market does correct itself, we can purchase cash as well, but maybe one property versus 2 properties, or
there's more.
Do we do nothing because people from California and Washington are moving here, come with big bucks, buying properties, at a higher, right, more than what the home is actually worth, and creating a new norm where the house market is not going to take a dip, but it's just becoming the new norm.
Dude, California is going to have to correct itself. It has to. It can't
People
just
are buying in California still. It's as hot as this market. Like,
but yes, but the government is fucking everything up in California.
Oh, yeah.
So
well, if we become like California, we're in problem.
Like right now, maybe we just wait, because if California keeps fucking up, everybody's going to leave.
And then we can
start buying stuff in California, so that when the government's like, you know what, we really fucked up, we need to stop hassling all the people. And because they've made it impossible for businesses to run in California.
Yeah.
So when they figure shit out, because you can't collect tax money from people that have left your state. So when they start, correcting stuff and people start moving back, maybe we buy a little bit before then. Because California, it's oceanfront property. It's going to pick back up again eventually. But right now, people are leaving left and right.
They are.
So anyway, I don't know.
Me neither. Ugh.
So we'll figure it out, and we'll let you guys know.
We're either going to be watching this podcast like we made the right decision, or we're going to be kicking ourselves in the ass.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Ugh.
So we'll see. But we've been talking a lot about, religion and all that stuff, but with the politics that's been happening lately, like with now that Trump's not the president. I don't even know if I should have said that, but because that's a bad word. I don't know if you know that.
But you're going to have to bleep it out.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But now that he's not the president and we have a new president, I really don't know much about what's been happening.
Because we don't watch the news.
But one positive side about having the new president is that I haven't heard shit about politics really. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not as loud as it was before.
Right.
It's not everywhere. Like, every time you turn on something, it's like, oh, this dude's fucking doing something. Oh, he's doing something else. Oh, he's over here doing something else. Like, when we had the previous president, it was just
It's because
stop everywhere.
The new president doesn't have a Twitter.
Maybe. That doesn't mean that may not necessarily be a good thing. Because now we're not hearing about the stuff that he's doing.
Right.
Which may not be good.
Or he doesn't remember what
But maybe. Oh my God.
We're joking.
Listen to you.
We joke.
Listen to you freaking right-wing lunatic talking shit about the president.
No, I'm not.
I'm just kidding.
Are you serious?
I'm just kidding.
You're going to have to bleep out this whole section right here.
No, but
you're going to hear a big bleep.
I don't know. I was just kind of thinking, I'm like, that is a positive, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, at least we're not hearing about it, so.
I'm just like happy-go-lucky because I don't listen to the news. And you know what's so crazy? My mom hasn't said anything.
Yeah.
Like she hasn't said, "Hey, did you hear about this?"
So
hey,
that
did
is
you hear about
positive.
that? You know, because she's like my news channel 3.
Yeah. So speaking of news, there is something that's gonna happen. I got to figure out when. I'll find out and I'll mention it on the podcast. But we were watching something the other day about SpaceX. That SpaceX is gonna launch the first rocket with an all-civilian crew into space.
Yeah.
And
that's cool.
It's pretty much going to be like an autopilot rocket that goes up into space. So they're not really going to be, I don't know if they're going to be flying or whatever. But anyway, the rocket, so the name of the mission is called the Inspiration 4. And there's 4 seats inside the capsule. And they're all civilians. Mm-hmm. And there's one guy, his name is Jared Isaacman. And he's a billionaire. His freaking story is crazy too. Like, he was 16. I don't know exactly what he figured out, but he figured something out and started a business at 16. And like, that thing blew up and this dude became a billionaire with a B. And he bought all 4 tickets on that spaceship.
Wow.
And his passion has always been flying. Like, there's a picture of this dude, and a lot of people wouldn't know it, but I worked on him. And he's like standing on an F-16, like getting ready to go fly. Like, I don't know if he owns one or something like that, because you can own like fighter jets.
Really?
They just have to be decommissioned. Like, there's a way to do it. But yeah, so that was one of his passions, was like flying jets and all that kind of stuff. So when this thing came up, like this option, he was like, I'm doing it. But he bought all 4 seats, and he's like, this is going to be a moment in history. And he gave away the other 3 seats.
Wow.
And he said that he's given those 3 seats away to other people, but he wants it to have a meaning. And he gave one to this lady who is a physician. So all the money that is going to get raised by what he spent for the seats is going to the St. Jude's Children's Hospital. The first seat was to a physician at St. Jude's Children's Hospital. The thing is that she was a patient at St. Jude's Children's Hospital when she was like 10. And they have video of her, like she has no hair. I think she had some form of cancer or something like that. And now she's a doctor helping those kids. And what they're going to do is when they get to space, this freaking capsule's insane. It's like a pointy capsule, but the lid, like it has like a lid on the top and it pops open and it's all glass. So you can kind of like stick your head out of the top of the capsule and you're just looking out into space, which is freaking insane.
Right.
But they're going to call back to Earth and talk to the kids at St. Jude's Children's Hospital with her in space to show them that she was in their position and that she's in space now.
That's cool.
And I think I don't know if hers is, I can't remember, but each seat stands for something. There was another lady that got a seat and she always wanted to be an astronaut. She made it into the astronaut program and she wasn't selected. And she kept doing some other things. She actually is from Phoenix and she ended up getting a seat. There's another guy. And
you guys can watch this.
Yeah. Just look it up. Yes. Inspiration 4. You can look up Jared Isaacman. I'm sure you'll be able to find the story about all the other people, but it's incredible.
Yes.
Like there's this one dude, he filled out a raffle ticket at some NASA thing and he won. And he gave the ticket away to somebody else. And now that person's going. And I guess his seat represents generosity or something like that. And the guy that's going up is an engineer or something like that. But it's insane. And like the stories behind all the people and the thought that, this guy, Jared Isaacman, put into picking the people for the seats. It's really cool.
Yes.
It's really cool.
So last week we spoke about a movie that we watched with the kids. And Audrey
Wonder.
read the book, Wonder. And Miguel was like, hey, guess what? You know the little girl?
One of the actresses?
One of the actresses from Wonder? What was her name? Do you remember? You don't remember? Anyways.
How are you going to do that to me?
She liked our post or our podcast from our episode.
Yeah.
Where we mentioned the movie, which was super cool. And then Miguel shows Audrey and Audrey's like, oh my God, that's so cool.
Ellie McKinnon.
And then Audrey and Sailor start talking about the podcast. And Sailor's like, wait, what? And she's like, oh my God, that's so cool. Your mom and dad have a podcast? Like they're going to be, what did she say? They're going to be famous. And Audrey's like, yeah, my friends tell me that. And I'm like, it's just my mom. It's just my dad. Like, whatever.
That's how it is. You remember when we had Joe Coy on? Like, he was talking about his son. Like, all his friends are like, oh, your dad's Joe Coy.
Right.
And his son, Joe, is like, whatever. It's like my dad.
And Sailor was like so excited about it. And then she comes in and she's like, hey, can I watch you guys start the podcast?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, sure.
Yep. It's
funny. So she's all into it. And Audrey's like, yeah, whatever. It's just our parents.
Yeah. No, that was pretty cool. I was surprised. I'm like, what the heck? But no, it was cool. But before we get out of here, there's another thing that I wanted to mention since we're still, kind of talking about the space and Wonder, the kid always wore the astronaut helmet and all that. China sent up a rocket to space. And I think they lost control of it. And it's coming back to Earth this weekend. Look it up. They don't know where it's going to land exactly, but it's crashing back to Earth.
What?
Yes. A lot of people don't know about this.
How did you hear about it?
It was in the news.
We don't even watch the news.
Well, YouTube news. Like, you know, when
like,
you're scrolling.
Wait, what? You're watching the news without me? Like,
no,
what?
No.
When?
No. But yeah, like if you look it up, there's like they're trying to figure out like different places. I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard that one of the options is like if that thing is coming towards the United States, like gonna land somewhere, they might like shoot it out of the sky, like try to destroy the entire thing before it lands anywhere. You know, like if it's over the ocean.
That's just
like if the trajectory is coming towards, like, let's say New York City, or I mean, what are the chances that a stray rocket's gonna land in a highly populated area? I mean, most of the Earth is covered by water anyway, so chances are it's gonna land in the ocean. But if it's headed towards, they might try to shoot it out of the sky so everything lands in the ocean and it doesn't make it on land. You know what I mean? That's one of the options that I heard. That's freaking nuts.
Yes. Yes.
So anyway, look it up. It may have already happened.
Miguel's making shit up anyways, you guys. Don't believe him. No.
Like I told you, everybody likes making shit up. Look it up. Find out if it's true or not. We should just start making up shit. Be like, you guys figure it out. But anyway, thank you guys for being with us. Yes. Thank you for following. Thank you for watching. Make sure you guys go to oppositesattractpodcast.com.
We appreciate your love and your support. Thank you so much for watching. Opposites Attract podcast.
Where we get better
together.
Bye.
Bye.